Why women's embodiment practices will never truly bring you into being a grounded, integrated, embodied woman. I want to talk to you about 9 pillars to the sacred trinity of the embodied woman. So these are very specific codes that have specific pillars of consciousness and frequency that the embodied woman's movement or femininity and divine expressions through our consciousness, our spirituality, through our body positive, our empowerment sectors, all working in some frames and some perspectives of this, but completely missing the mark of the foundations of what it is to be an embodied woman. And so many women are struggling in their masculinity, struggling by holding and supporting more than what is true for their being, their body. Their hormones are out of balance, their weight is out of congruency with their truth of their sacred heart. They are in a level of stress, fatigue. There is a denial. There is an aspect of leaning into the reservoirs of the stress hormones, the fight, flight, freeze responses. And this happens because in our reality, there is not a foundational construct of consciousness that teaches us how to actually be all of this. And if being an embodied woman and being in your feminine essence and living life from that point is important for you as a woman, then there are very specific pillars that will help you to do this. So to make sense of this, I want to explain. I am a mystery school teacher. I'm the master teacher of the Purity of Isis. We have a new intake February 14th. 2025, so coming up, and it is a 333 days to embodied mastery of that of the initiation or the purification process of woman. So working in the specific chakra systems around woman's medicine, woman's magic, the priestess energy, the goddess, the archetypes of the divine feminine being, and assisting women to come into the cultivation and the remembrance of their soul's path and their soul's journey. This allows for a woman to be able to be who they innately are as their essence in this reality and share it with the world in a way that is their natural state of experiencing. It's what their sacred heart desires, and therefore it can live in love and prosperity. So with that, I work with women to help them to be guided into what they naturally are, because in our reality we have conditioning, we have trauma, we have pain, we have an over dominating society that is guiding us to pull ourselves out of our center. And so with that, there are an awareness that in consciousness, in spirituality, there is confusion from what makes up the three-dimensional reality. Everything in this human experience runs off the Holy Trinity, or off the 3 pillars to the 3rd dimension. So you require to see something from 3 lenses before it can become purified or in its true expression. Now, we always think that it's about polarity. There's a truth to that, but there's a confusion to it, because of polarizing energies, and we'll use masculine as feminine, for instance, they have a joining point. That's the middle point, which creates the 3rd pillar, which is union. So masculine and feminine create union. Union in itself, that is what you could consider to be the transcendence of energy form. And with that, we have many other trinities, so many trinities. And if you can understand the Trinity, you can start to dominate your human reality. You can start to live in a conscious creation and expression where no longer are you denied specific perspectives of being able to use your consciousness to create, manifest, build. You are able to see from all 3 lenses and start to build the foundations of the very energy systems that create this experience for you. So any focus lens, you can use the 3, 6, and 9 tools to create exactly what it is that you desire. Challenge is, most people have not come to a point of purification or interpretation of consciousness to be able to teach this. This comes from sacred internal wisdom. This comes from understanding geometry, energy signatures, hierarchy of consciousness. This takes many lifetimes to be able to create a strategic process and a framework of consciousness to be able to assist individuals to do this. And that is what I do. I guide individuals through specific frameworks to cleanse, clear, purify, and solidify frequencies into their consciousness so they can live in their desired alignment, in their desired dream, and to manifest what it is that they want in their reality. So women, I don't know many women that say they don't want to feel like a woman. Now, those that choose that are a little confused and they're still working on some of their masculine protection mechanisms. But for those women that are going into embodiment, women that go into embodiment, women that want to learn how to be in love, they desire to be a woman. Women come in physical form of this female vessel to be able to be the expression of woman. Now, to do that, you need to understand and cultivate and clear the distortions around what that is. And there are 9 main pillars. So what I want to share with you are these 9 pillars. These pillars to the sacred trinity of an embodied woman. So an embodied woman is made up of, if you imagine a pyramid, and this pyramid has 3 triangular sides and 3 points at the bottom in the base. And the top point is what your desire is or your intention. So this, for instance, is embodied woman. Now, at the base of the embodied woman, what makes up the foundations of an embodied woman in consciousness, in cultivation of her being, is that of love, femininity, and stabilization. Now, stabilization is what women would often say, but that's not a feminine attribute at all. Femininity couldn't possibly be stabilization. That's a masculine expression. And this is important to understand about the Trinity, is there will be a feminine, a masculine, and a unified expression to everything. You can say that some things are feminine, some things are masculine, some things are more in the middle, and they apply to both, but you can't really decide. Now, that is because there's a neutral energy to everything, and trinities are created in that way so that we can have the masculine, the feminine, and the unified so that we see it in truth. So we become its embodiedness. So when we look at love, love is made up from the heart, from courage, and from vulnerability. Now, to make up this 3 pillars, right? So each of the sacred trinities has their own trinity. So there's 3, 6, and 9 pillars to this foundational expression of being and becoming embodied in that. And it means working with these frequencies. And so you have your heart. That is the heart chakra. The heart chakra is responsible for love. It is the expression of love. The heart chakra is that radiates the octave of love. When you open and you work with your heart, you become that of self-love. Now, then there is courage to give love, to be love. It requires courage, a lion's heart. That reference has a meaning because courage, it takes courage to choose love. It takes courage to express love. It takes courage to be the openness of love. And that's where it comes into the pole of vulnerability. It takes so much vulnerability to allow love in. It takes so much vulnerability to allow your heart to open once it's been broken. It takes so much vulnerability to express your heart's desires and your feelings. That is a core foundational expression of that of an embodied woman, because women are here to experience love in this reality. And then you look at femininity, of course, right? An embodied woman, how could she not have femininity as the base of that foundation? But what is femininity actually made up of, right? We talk about femininity in all of these different polarizing expressions. We talk about it in different relating and consciousness. But what is femininity? Femininity is made up of 3 primary energies. So these are your next 3, which creates 6. 3, 6, 9. And this expression of femininity is made up of 3 elements, being that of birthing, right? Birthing something in the world. Not that we are just birthing portals to human life, but we birth energy. Birthing has a very specific way of being. We birth love into the world. We birth ideas into the world. We are the birthers, which is why women are the oracles, the conduits. They are the medicine in that way. They birth this as an idea to be given and used and created and cultivated. So women are the birthers. They need to be in touch with their birthing capacity. Luminosity. Now, luminosity, that is the illuminous nature of woman, the vitality, the glow, the beauty. She requires this. This is her natural state of being. Youthfulness, glow, her softness, her vivaciousness sits in luminosity. If a woman is disconnected, she's dull. She is that of a feeling of having a sense of lack. She does not give herself the abundance, the levels of adornments. All of this sits in luminosity. The next is support, right? It sounds strange. Support, another masculine expression. You often see support as being something that doesn't allow for that of the feminine to be her feminine. Many women say, I'm not supported, so I can't be my feminine expression. Well, that's inaccurate. It's not a truth. The truth is that the support that she holds, that she is, that she has within her, in her sacral chakra, the support energy and working through the layers of support allows her to be the holding. Support is holding. That is femininity. That is that expression. The third code is that of stabilization. Now, a woman who's got all of her feminine energy, a woman who's embodied in her heart and love, right? So she's in her womb and she's in her heart space, that beautiful heart and womb connection, which is what the feminine movement is all about. That's what they talk about. Womb, heart, womb, heart, womb, heart. They do not talk about the pillar, the stabilization and the importance of the groundedness that is to be a woman. Otherwise, she does this: feminine, masculine, emotional overwhelm, turbulence, chaos. She is all of those things because she's unable to recognize that she needs stabilization, which is also spoken about in many aspects of relating and tantric expressions. And those 3 foundational core structures of stabilization, bringing us into the 9 pillars, is that of 1, safety. A woman cannot open, surrender, yield if she does not feel safe in her body and her environment. If she has not worked on safety, and for a woman, that sits in the root chakra. Now, from the initiates that I've worked with, many women pull out before they go to their root chakra. They'll stay in their womb. They're quite happy to stay in power and the dark feminine and tantric embodiment and different expressions of slightly distorted feminine rising and girl power energies in the different dynamics, because they're afraid to look at the fact that they do not feel safe in the world and that they have not looked at the fragmentation that sits in the root chakra. And so they're like, haul ass out. Nope, don't want to look at that. And that will be why women get stuck in the infinite embodiment practices and they never truly become an embodied, stabilized woman that sits in her sweetness, in her yielding, in her power, in her potency. And so safety is the necessity for this to be grounded in. Then you have trust. Trust not being trust of other people. Trust being of the connection to source. Trust being that if I am connected to my feminine expression, to my heart, to my sacral power, to the intuition that I be, that if I trust so undoubtedly that I am okay in the world, So trust is a huge aspect to being able to trust that my expression will be received, that I trust myself so much that if it isn't, that it's okay. Now, the third pillar is receptivity. Receptivity being that the feminine embodied woman is the receiver. She is the receiver of downloads. She is the receiver of the masculine penetration. She is the receiver of that, of the flow of the cosmic creation, that she is a receiver. And if she is without any of those foundations, she cannot receive. If she does not have safety, she cannot receive. If she does not have trust, she cannot trust her receiving. You see how all of these interact and interlock. And so those 9 pillars, when worked through, activated, cleared, purified, solidified, you can create from, you can live as an embodied woman. You can live in a state where you have all of that in the fullness of your reservoirs. So for this, there is options, there is opportunities. You can work on this in your own, or you can take a sacred calling to your heart. If this is resonating, if this is something that you want to cultivate, this is something that you want to invest in yourself so that you're not in your overly masculine dominance, that you can start to repair the perpetuating cycles in your relationship, so you can be a mother that is sweet and soft and hears her child, rather than the emotional overwhelms, the control, the domination that takes place in your life. If that is your desire, to be the divine feminine expression, then I would invite you to feel into your sacred heart and really decide, is the purity of Isis for me? Is there a mentor and a guide that can show me what they have become? Through these pillars and through many other different initiation tools, we work with women to be able to be what they are, and train through the guidance of the inner source connection on how to recognize this, using different strategies, frameworks, and the DAC process to come into the attainment of it. So with that, I want to thank you for receiving this educational session. If it resonates, please do alarm. If this resonates, please like, subscribe, and share with anyone who you feel might get value from this information. And if you would like to book in an oracle call to see if, down using your visionary capacity, what archetypes you have as a woman, what aspects of energy, what your innate blueprint is that only you have as a unique woman in this reality, that you are connected to that, then please let me know if this feels true for you to go into the next steps. Send me an email, join our mailing list, and you can receive the 3 free initiations for the transmissions that prepare women for the purity of Isis. Without even connecting on a call with me, by the end of those transmissions, you'll know if this has your calling and if this is for you. I love you, beautiful souls. Thank you for receiving this. Don't forget to like and subscribe.